Welcome back to our habit series of a successful Parisi performance coach. I am with my longtime friend and colleague, Steve Leo. What's it been now, 18 years?
Almost 20, getting to 20, close to 20.
20 years, Steve, the most tenured coach in the Parisi network of all time. So I'm excited to be bringing you some info. We're actually at training week here. Steve's doing a great job, one of our master trainers and really heading up our corporate training here at Atlantic Sports Health in Morristown, New Jersey. Steve, we're going to talk about skipping today, and I was here, I watched you go through the skipping progression with the class that we have in this month. Talk to us a little bit about how you teach skipping and the intricacies of skipping and the importance of it.
Well, one of the things is with skipping, it's a great way to teach running technique, especially linear speed technique. So first thing you want to do is set the body positioning up, get a good straight body line, and keep the hips high up off the ground. A lot of kids tend to kind of sink down when they run. So this is setting their basic positioning up. And then we want to talk about the foot strike, which I think a lot of kids kind of forget about. We do a lot of pogo jumps in our warm-up, and we want to try to get the feet to land on balls of our feet, flip our toes up. But especially when we talk about acceleration and top speed, you want to start applying a lot of force into the ground with the skipping technique. So the example I've been using with some of the young kids is Newton's third law of motion says for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So if I take this rag right here and I drop it on the ground, obviously it doesn't bounce back up. If I take this tennis ball and I bounce it off the ground, it bounces back up. I want your feet to be like the tennis ball. I want it to bounce off the ground, not hit the ground and stay there. So we have to apply that force and get that rebound effect to come back up.
That is a great analogy, a great visual. Bringing a tennis ball and a rag, a towel out to the training floor, letting those people know, and then like you said in the beginning, it's correctives. Correctives for speed training. Think of it as correctives. Skipping is a corrective. So erect body angle, responding off the ground. 2 great points.
Great. Awesome. And then what we want to do when we go into the skipping movements, you can kind of combo it however you want as far as using your arms, not using your arms. I'm going to show you a couple different versions of it, but the main thing is the body position needs to stay straight. The hips need to be high off the ground. The feet need to land right below the hips, on the balls of the feet, and pulling the toe up. But we are applying force into the ground. I think sometimes kids think about going forward, so they almost jam their foot as they're skipping forward. They're not getting that push off, which I'm going to demonstrate in a minute.
Let's show them what it looks like.
All right, so one of the first drills that we're going to use is going to be a regular skipping movement. We're going to take the hands, put it behind the head. What this does is it gets their body up tall. A lot of kids have a tough time with posture. So we're putting the hands behind the head, just like our power squats, gets them up nice and tall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop and skip. When I do this, I'm going to pop in place first, and then I'm going to glide forward. What happens is kids, again, think about skipping to that cone. They're going to worry about going forward. So for now, I'm just going to start skipping in place, and I'm thinking about popping my feet into the ground. Establish that first. Once they get that down, tell them to glide forward. Again, the glide is going to teach them to move forward at a better pace, not think about going forward. So my hands are up. Now I'm going to go forward and glide. Start in place, and then pop.
I really love the hands behind the head. That's going to teach great posture, great technique with the upper, thoracic spine, all those areas that we really need to hone in on. That was awesome. Then what do you progress to after that?
So then the next progression would be, obviously, let's incorporate the arm action. Elbows locked down, the hands open, hammer the arm back, opposite arm, opposite leg. Like we did before, we're going to do it in place. So I'm going to start popping in place. Once they get that down, now we're going to start gliding forward. Same thing. In place, and then forward.
Really good stuff here, Steve. I really see you're focusing on driving force into the ground. The knee is punching forward.
Correct.
You're not really worrying about driving the knee up super high, because the concept is driving that knee forward and driving down into the ground. Now, I know a lot of coaches might be thinking about, hey, I thought we're supposed to be on and off the ground fast. It looks like your feet are on the ground a little bit longer, your knees aren't coming up as high. Address some of those points.
No, it's a good point, but remember what we're working on. In this drill right here, we're trying to work on applying force into the ground. And since we're in a short spin, it's okay if there's a little bit more force application, meaning a little bit more of their feet being on the ground. If you're going to work on top speed, if I was doing these skips in a top speed session, I would focus a little bit less on the force application, a little bit more on the recovery, about popping and bringing the leg up.
That is a great point. This skipping activity we just went over is more of an acceleration type skipping focus, where you're looking at a more of a top end speed skip focus, where the thigh is coming up a little bit higher and you're really focusing on coming off the ground faster and not putting up putting so much force directly into the ground, but
Correct.
recovering that leg off the ground quicker. So what is the focus of your skip? Is it an acceleration skip? Is it a top speed skip? You know, really honing it down. I love where we're going here at the Parisi Speed School. We're not necessarily teaching a new drill, but we're taking the skip and we are really diving deep into that technique and really optimizing it for either acceleration or top speed.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. Hey, use these techniques, apply them into your exercises, take your athletes to the next level. Great job, my man.
Good job.